But I do try
Yeah, like I
to.
I make dinner and I put it in the microwave.
I just leave it
And
on
then
the stove for her, and she just goes and gets it.
if I leave it on the stove, it becomes dog dinner because the lab will pull it down,
Well,
and then the
lucky for me, like where I'm at, I'm
Mhm.
direct line for the so and they're all their beds are right there. So they can see me. I have the door closed, but they're French doors, glass doors, so they can
Yeah.
see me and see me sitting here. And so they're like and I can see the stove. So they know I can see them if they're getting up.
So Harley, if you fart crooked, Mama's got you.
I gotta take her like I have to take Harley to the vet. Something is going on. She's a Great Dane. She's going on 10
Mhm.
years old, which is
Oh
old for
wow.
a Great Dane.
Yeah, I didn't realize she was old.
Mhm. So she is I think she might be getting dementia or something.
Oh
She
wow.
has been so last night she came downstairs in the middle of the night when I was asleep and
Hmm.
got the now I can't remember what it was. And I was just telling Bo Betty about this. What was it? She got yeah, so the other night it was the glove. I had like gardening gloves on the counter. She got the gardening gloves off the counter and shredded them. And then last night I didn't clean up dinner, so the pot of stuff that I made was sitting by the sink. It still had food in it. Oh, the toaster. This bitch got the toaster off the counter. It was sitting right next to the pot of food that I didn't bother to clean up, and she chewed up the fucking toaster. There were tooth holes in the metal. And so I come down this morning and I see the toaster laying in her bed, and I pick it up
She's gonna get to her bed.
and I'm
It's
like
dedication.
I know it's her because the other only other dogs are, little dogs. I'm like, the tooth holes in this thing is Great Dane size. Like I know it was your dumb ass.
And
And
it's
so
in her
I
bed.
pick it up, and so where her bed is by like the door, and then there's the kitchen in between that, and then there's the back door, and there's the entryway from like the hall from the stairs is at the kitchen. So where I'm standing, she's coming in, like coming from upstairs in, so she's standing like in between me and the back door. Normally, if I picked something up and I have something that she got off the counters in the kitchen, she would be running out the back door, right? 'Cause
Hmm.
there's the doggy door there. So I'm picking up the toaster, and I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I can't believe you chewed up metal." And she came at me, growling, snarling, like she's never been aggressive before. She came charging at me. I whacked her upside the head with the fucking toaster, and then she's like, and ran outside. And I'm like, there's something going on because she's never been aggressive.
Right.
I'm like, what is going on? And I've been like, so I was Googling it, and like them, like, not like aggression and stuff is a sign of dementia in dogs.
I'm not surprised because it's a sign of dementia in humans too. So it's very similar.
Mm hmm. So, and I mean, she's 170 pounds. So
Oh fuck,
I
yeah.
don't know if I can handle 170 pounds of aggression. You know what I mean?
Dementia.
Mm hmm.
Um so our the only reason I was giggling is because it still happens now, but it happened more when our Rhodesian was alive. So we had a Rhodesian Ridgeback. His name was Bodie, and and Rhodesians are cousins to Great Danes, so they're very close in size.
Mm hmm. Yeah, they're big
Um,
dogs too.
yeah, he's big. He's probably about 100 pounds.
Right.
Um, and he would get shit like him, and we still have Bailey, our lab,
Right.
and she's good size. She's a large dog. Um, but she's a big baby, so she's like very curious. They would work together to get shit out of the sink. Like I had to learn I could not defrost meat in the sink because Bodie would get it and pull it down, and then they would tear it apart and they would eat it. They ate raw salmon, they ate raw chicken. Thankfully, we eat breasts with no bones,
Right.
but they ate so much. And like, he got a plate of mini bunt cakes. Six, I made molten lava cakes
Mm.
for Christmas. He chocolate. He ate six of them. We watched his fucking ass all night
Well,
to
I
be sure,
that he
yeah,
wasn't dying. I think I was
that he
telling
wasn't
you
dying.
about, I mean, it hasn't been but a couple months ago that she got into that ibuprofen in the
Yeah.
middle of the night. She got into the medicine cabinet, and I came down and a whole 500 bottle of ibuprofen tablets was completely empty and chewed up. All the NyQuil and cough medicine, all that
Oh,
was chewed
goddamn.
up. She and I'm like, I called the vet and I'm like, what do I do? I don't know how long ago this has happened. And they were like, unfortunately, you can take her to the emergency vet, but they're not going to be able to do anything. They're just going to charge you to monitor her. If
That,
if she's
yeah.
going to die, she's going to die with that medication. And so, I
Yeah,
mean,
that
I
was
felt bad because I put her in the kennel because I was like, if you go upstairs and die, I can't get you down, you know.
right, right.
So she and I had to go to work. So,
That
when I
was
went to my meeting, she went in the kennel and she didn't die. I don't
that
know.
was the
I don't
same
know how
thing.
she survived. Brand new bottle, completely unopened, 500 tablets of ibuprofen. I couldn't
Maybe,
find a single one of them.
oh goddamn.
All of them
That,
gone.
yeah. The
They
emergency vet, we called the emergency vet, because
I
this
just
was
called
day
my
after
regular
Christmas.
vet, and my regular vet was like, "You can take her to the emergency vet, but I'm gonna tell you now, they're gonna keep her. They're gonna keep her for a couple of days, and they're gonna charge you for it, but they can't do anything."
Mhm.
The only
That was that was
She
ours.
was like,
The
"So you can do the exact same thing at home, and if
Yeah.
she's gonna survive, she's gonna survive. If not, then." And
Yeah,
then I took her back like
our
2.
emergency vet and our regular vet are connected.
Oh, are they?
So
No, mine's not.
when you call the regular vet after hours, you get, the emergency service.
No.
And that was, we told him, like, he ate a shit ton of fucking chocolate. And the tech said basically the same thing. She's like, you can bring him in, but honestly, we're gonna there he's not gonna be hooked up to anything
Mhm.
other than
Just
a
gonna
heart
watch him.
monitor.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna watch him. It's 200 and some odd dollars just to bring him in, and then it was like 100 and something dollars a day.
Well, it's more expensive for the emergency vet here. It was like $500 for the for the original visit, and then it's
Mhm.
something like $300 per day, and then they would take blood and all this kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
like it would have been easily in the thousands. I took her to the vet like 2 days later whenever they could get me in. Whenever she survived the day,
Mhm.
and I called them and I was like, I want to get her checked out. Like she's still kicking. And I brought her in and her levels of her liver were elevated. So she did ingest all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, at 9, 10 years old, I can't believe it.
yeah. Well, he same thing. He was when he did this, he was 8. And so we're like, okay, well, we'll just watch him. So we sat up all night watching him. And my wife went to work the next day. I was off.
I,
So
I
I stayed.
unfortunately couldn't. I stayed home most of the day, but I had a meeting that they were like, you
Yeah.
have to be here for. So I put her in the kennel and I was like into her crate and I was like, you're gonna have to stay in here until I get home.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not
Sorry.
gonna yeah, I was like, "I'm not gonna be able to like, if you go upstairs, I don't know how I'm gonna get you down."
Hell, he took himself outside and took a monster of a shit and he was fine.
I said, I never I didn't ever see her throw up or anything, but When I
Mhm.
did take her to the vet and they checked her blood and everything, and they were like, "Yeah, her levels and everything are elevated, but she had to have thrown it up somewhere."
Yeah, yeah. Well, and we lost him this year, like before summer this year, but because he was 11 years old, he went into kidney failure because he
Hmm.
got a kidney infection. We took him to the vet. He got, fluids, he got antibiotics, he got pain relief, but unfortunately it was just it um well, it kept him alive for probably another 2 months,
Mm,
but we ended up having to take him back in, and he did, pass away from it, but he never showed any signs of that he was in pain. When he started to decline, it was he just stopped eating, he stopped drinking, and he wouldn't get himself up on the couch, and
mm,
that was the same day we took him in, and that was the same day he passed away.
right,
And, we had to do the humane thing, which broke my heart,
right,
but, you know,
yeah.
I
That
I
was
kinda
like,
hope somebody does the humane thing for me
right.
to
And
be.
that's what I said too. I mean, I ended up doing the same thing. Like my cat Ooze. My cat's name was his name was Ooze before I got arsenic and cyanide.
Yeah, the coolest animal names, I'm
And
telling you.
he was a Maine Coon, solid black. He was huge.
Ah,
He was the best boy. This was my dude. He slept
mhm.
on my pillow next to my head every night. And a man came around, he would attack them
Oh,
whenever
yeah,
they moved at nighttime.
you were
They
his
would
girl. Yeah, so
they
fuck
would roll
them.
over and he would attack them. And he's like 25 pounds, like pouncing on them in their sleep. Like
They're
he was huge. And they
and they
would,
got big ass fucking paws like
yeah,
his.
and they would get up and just be clawed to shit. Guys didn't ever want to ever spend the night with me because,
I
and he
can't
would
blame
set
them.
out the door, like, because I would lock him out, just knowing that he was going to attack them. And
Did he sit out there and just, like,
meow, he
tell
would
you?
like sound like he was dying all night
Oh,
long.
yeah.
And but he was the best boy. He was awesome. And I was dating this guy, and so it's kind of like choppy here. Like, so he stayed at my house. I had drill weekend, so he was alone at my house. We went to bed, all this kind of stuff. The next day he left, and I'm making the bed, and there's a huge blood spot on my blanket. And so I call him and I was like, "Did I bleed? Were you bleeding? Like, what's this?" And he's like, "I don't know what to tell you. I don't know anything."
Was
So
it
that
rough?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I'm like, "Where did this come from?" And he's like, I don't know. Everybody's fine. Like, I don't know where it came from."
Mhm,
And so then the next night, or that's that night after he leaves, I'm sitting there and I noticed that Ooze's one of his eyes isn't reflective. Like, I'm watching a scary movie, and cat's eyes reflect, and all the lights in the house are off. And I just happened to look over at him, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with your, like? Why is only one eye
yeah.
reflective?" So then I turn on the lights and I'm looking at him, and you could see blood sloshing in his eyeball. So of course I take him to the emergency vet, and they can't figure out what's the bleedings from. They're checking him. They think he has some sort of head trauma, blah, 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 blah. Well, fast forward, this
Fucking
guy that I'm dating
aneurysm.
breaks up with me, leaves me for his ex, and then she calls me. So there's all this drama. So she gets involved and tells me that he tried to kill the cat and by squishing his head, which caused the bleeding in the eye. So all of that to say, the bleeding in the eye, we eventually healed, but I had to take him to a specialist. And so
Mhm.
when we're going to the specialist to get this bleeding to stop, they found brain cancer, completely unrelated. And he lived for about, they said that he could live for probably a year or so with it.
Mhm.
It was probably about 3 or 4 months, and he just started declining so fast that I
Mhm.
ended up like
Yeah.
just I got to put him down. He quit. he just quit doing the things that he used to love to do, you know? Like
Yeah,
he
when
was an avid hunter. He would go outside, and every time he went outside, he would bring something in. I was
mhm.
constantly like picking up dead birds and mice and fucking
Oh, yeah,
squirrels
you
and
were his woman, that's why he
yeah.
was bringing you everything.
And like he wouldn't even go outside anymore. He never used a litter box in his life. He always went outside. And so
Mhm,
now here he is. He doesn't know how to use a litter box because he never used one.
mhm.
And he's peeing in front of the litter box because he doesn't know he needs to get inside of it.
I can't yeah,
And
poor guy.
yeah, and so I was like, no, it's just time for him to go. But
Yeah. So, please tell me that this motherfucker, that he some kind of, I mean, like, karma, justice, that
I
he
don't
got
know.
ran over.
So actually, this guy, we call him the soggy sandwich. His the girl that he left me for she's batshit crazy too. Like I don't know.
Oh, good,
Uh,
so they're perfect for each other.
yeah, they're
Maybe it'll be a
I don't
murder
think that they're
suicide.
together anymore. Like she called
Damn.
me. The reason she reached out to me is because she broke up with him, and she's like, "Oh, he's gonna come back to you because I broke up with him." And I'm like, and that's
Like
when he
the
starts telling me
fucking
all this
yes.
stuff, like you know. But he stalked me for a while. So he broke up with me, and I was kind of like, "Wait, you can't just break up with me, like everything's going pretty good with us. You told me that she was abusive and that she physically abused and sexually abused your daughter. Like, what are you doing going back to this woman?"
What
And
the
yeah.
fuck?
And so then he starts being like really mean to me. And it's like, then every day, and I'm not saying anything to him at like this point, but it's like every day I'm getting a text message. If you lost weight, maybe I would still be with you. No man's ever gonna love you. Like just every day, like
Well, he'd
just
have fucking hated me.
just fucked up shit. And I'm not responding. I'm not saying anything.
Well, no,
And
because
finally I'm showing one of my friends, and she's like, "Why haven't you blocked him yet?" So I block him. And then he starts in on Facebook. So I block him on Facebook. Then it's TikTok, and I block him on TikTok. And then it's Instagram, and I block him on Instagram. And then it's every social media thing. And the
mhm.
next thing you know, I had this it was a motion sensor like trail cam thing in my driveway. Cause I have 15 acres of woods. My
Yeah.
driveway is fucking long as shit, and it's all wooded. So you're driving through the woods to get to my house. So there's at the start of the driveway, there's a trail cam so I can
Mhm,
see, and it comes on a monitor. It dings when somebody passes it, and it lights up so I can see who's driving down the driveway.
mhm. We
And
have those cameras all around our house. They're not trail cameras, but we've got cameras all over. Do the same thing. The
right,
minute motion happens, they
they
start
light up.
recording
Yeah,
and
they
it
ding,
lights
and
up.
then I can
Yeah.
look at the monitor or on my
Mhm.
phone and see who's coming.
See if it's
So,
friend or foe.
mhm. So, well, it's like the middle of the night it happens, but I don't hear it ding. So the next
Mhm.
morning I'm like, there was motion, and I'm like, on my phone it's like motion at 2 a.m. or something. And I was like, 2 a.m., that's a random time. So look at it. This motherfucker's walking through my woods to my driveway. He walks down the driveway, and so I could see him go down the driveway to the house, and then they lose him, and he's walking. The next thing, it picks him up behind my house because I have one in the backyard. Like
He's looking for a way to get in.
he's walking around my house. He leaves, walks back out the way he came, and then he remembers. I think that's there, and you see him like stop and look around. He picks up a piece of branch, like a piece of wood, turns around and just beats the camera off the tree.
Dude, you've already been recorded. What the fuck is wrong with you?
And then I call it in, report it, and they're like, "Well, you have to put no trespassing signs up, blah blah blah." So I do all that, and then he
Oh,
starts going
give me
like
a fucking break.
around town, and I'm seeing him like places I go around town and all that. finally, the pizza place that I frequent, they ended up like calling and reporting that he was harassing customers. And so they came,
Trying to get to you?
well, because he was there all the time. And I would walk in and they were like, "Your ex is over there again."
Yay.
And he would just be in there causing problems.
What a fucking douche.
And so they call and report him for harassing customers. And then it's the same cop that came to my house and he was like, "Oh, you again, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "That's the guy that beat my camera off." And he was like, "Oh, convenient." So he lived in Virginia, so they couldn't actually do anything about him trespassing and stuff at my house because he's not there. They can't go to Virginia to get him.
Oh shit.
So
What
now
an
here he
idiot.
is in Maryland again, harassing me at a local. So they did like arrested him and
Mhm.
got the protective order put in place and everything. And I've never seen him again. So
It's too bad that Maryland and California is not like Wyoming. Wyoming is a very strict, and I learned this on my trip. Which let me just say, my week in Wyoming was phenomenal, best vacation I've ever had. Um, but they have a very, very strict stand your ground
hmm
law.
yeah, a lot of those
So,
places do, like
so like
Texas and
if
Oklahoma
you,
and stuff.
yeah, if you just step onto someone's property, they can put a hole in your head.
In
And
in Maryland, it's they can't even be in the process of breaking into your home.
right,
They have to be in your home. And
that's
they
California.
have to have broken into your home. If they came in because a window was open or the door was unlocked, you still can't do anything. They have to have physically broke in and be in the home. You can't even protect yourself in the act. If you shoot them and they fall out of the house, then
You're yeah, manslaughter
mhm.
or murder.
Yep.
That's how California is too. They have to be in the house.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know about the unlocked door or unlock or open window, but I know they have to be inside your house.
Yeah, in Maryland,
They can't
it
be
has
on
to
your
be
property.
forced entry, essentially.
Oh, but if they're in your house and you're facing them and you shoot them, yes, but there has to be a weapon, there has to be something that shows your life was in danger.
Well, see,
Because if
and
they're just
here it doesn't need to be any of that. It's if and like an intruder is in your house, but there has to be forced entry. Like you
yeah,
have to have came in forcefully.
yeah. But if they can prove you shot that dude or chick in the back, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
it's
you're
murder.
screwed.
You're screwed. Um, so party people, do you know of a famous sibling or parent of a
Ooh.
serial killer or a mass murderer
Yep.
or a school shooter? If you do, hit us up in the comments on our YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Let us know because we want to tell your story.
Yep. That'd be awesome.
Um, and you got a stalker? We definitely want to know about that.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
do some stalker stories. Stalkers are crazy.
yeah, yeah. Hit us up in the comments. Let us tell your story, or come on and tell your story for you, for or
Yep.
to us. God, I can't
Yep.
even.
We're more than welcome have some guests.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're always down. If someone has a story to tell, we're always down.
Yep.
Um, but in the meantime, give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow, subscribe to our YouTube. Those videos are hard as shit to make.
Eh,
Uh, so um, give us 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars. If we're under 3 stars for you,
just
uh,
email us or message us somewhere and cuss us out. Don't put it on there.
or, or keep it to your damn self, one of the
Yeah.
two. Um,
How will
but
even
in
bring you on? You can come on and cuss us out in front of everybody.
yeah,
How about that?
truthfully, I would be so down. Like I would listen if someone said, "You know what? I'll come on. I'll tell you exactly what you're doing wrong. I'll listen to you."
Right.
and then I'll ignore you. And then I'll just edit you out of the video.
Right.
Um, but thank you guys for playing along with this. I knew it wasn't going to take more than 2 pages in before my girl would know
Well,
exactly
I
who it
I
was.
started to suspect at Chicago when you said Chicago, and I was like, huh. But there's a couple of serial killers that came out of
Mm-hmm.
Chicago. So
Yeah,
and then when you said the costume, that's the only one I know that had a costume.
yeah, yeah, and that's when I knew. I'm not even going to say it's a clown costume,
Mhm.
but I'm going to say it's an iconic photo. It's a costume, and she's going to know. She's
Right.
going to know exactly. And yeah, if I remember right, he's the only one that had a costume.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I know there's other serial killers that had like you have,
Disguises and stuff, but this
yeah, like
costume really had nothing to do with his murders.
no, because he didn't use it in
Mhm.
any way to
Right.
lure his victims. He
Right.
used it to entertain children and it's kind of creepy in a way if you think about it.
Right.
Like this man he loved kids. He loved to be around kids. He loved to do things for kids.
Right.
But then add 10 years on him, and then he wants to rape them and kill them.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, yep.
Something was
If
cemented in there.
Yeah, it's always there's always that cog that doesn't spin just right.
Right.
Um, so if this was a heavy episode and you stuck with us through the end, thank you. If you're a Gacy enthusiast and I got something wrong, shoot me a message.
And we will
Uh,
fix it. Do a new
and I will.
episode.
That's right. I will come
Update it.
on and update for you. Um, but in the meantime, catch us on the flip side.
Bye.